Orna's open, we're gonna pick it up. We could now focus target onto other supports. Galio, Nautilus, and the likes. These are support champions that we have seen rise to the champion pool, to the pick rates, to the ban rates that we've seen over the past few months. But right now, EDG is answering back. Jungler will be the target as Vi is removed.
This is a Shen angle for the Dawn here, because they have the Akali for Andra 9. With a Stand United, he can just provide so much protection against the damaged champions of Edward Gaming. And since Camille and Kha'Zix has been picked up already, there's zero chance for EDG to steal out this Shen.
Alistar is still a good option here. It will be a good peel for the likes of Ezreal, and not necessarily that Ezreal needs it, because you still have the ability to dash in and out of fights just because of his kill kit, but that will be extra layer of defensive capabilities. But you've called it already, Giyong. Shen will be hovered here by KBG, gives that extra sustain for the likes of Akali and their ADC that could potentially be locked in here for their final pick.
Yeah, this is massive coming in from Keepus Gaming. This draft is actually so scary. I would give it to Keepus Gaming right from the bat. Even if they lock in the Zeri or the Severe, it doesn't matter because their kit is so complete already. From the early game to mid game towards late game, team fighting is going to be there, crowd control, initiation is going to be there, and protection as well. Alongside with the backline access. EDG really needs to lock in this Jax. Possibly to counter the backline later on to have consistent DPS as well. But still, my regards to Keepus Gaming. You have the better draft.
Camille mid lane? There we go. Oh, EDG is doing a flex here. You know what? They do not need ADCs. They do not need mages. And yes, you have Ezreal in your lineup, but they do not need any more than that. They're locking in Camille. They're locking in Jax and putting Camille into the mid lane. And the thing is, I feel like this would work. Because the thing is, going into the mid lane, you still have that capability of going into other lanes for that extra ganking capability. And remember, from what we have as a tradition here in Wild Rift League Asia, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, mid lane and bot lane switches, and that will give that extra lane pressure for the side of EDG. Have that extra prowess to go for the side lane push.
Classic you as well from Edward Gaming. After seeing it once during their match against Nova Esports when Neon used it against them, however, it didn't work out because it is EDG. Now he uses this champion in one of the most important matches right now here in the first day of the final stage. Let's see if this is going to be effective as they match against Keepus Gaming with their scary composition. Just game number 1. The one game that they will have against Keepus Gaming. This is not a best of 3, not a best of 5, not a best of 7. It's a best of 1. Everything is on the line.
And you read my mind, Giyong, because this is no time to be able to experiment on your lineup composition. So EDG is confident that Camille mid lane would work. And this is something that EDG is very strong at. All about that aggression, all about securing that win. Back in the regular stages, they rose up the leaderboards all of a sudden mid-season. And right now, it's KBG who has beat them down 4-0, but given the ample time to be able to review KBG's matches and even EDG, I believe this composition is not something to be belittled here by EDG.
Yeah, they only need the one game that they will win, maybe through this comp, maybe through their aggressive prowess, amplified by this champion lineup that they have picked up so far. It can be very effective. The isolation from the Camille can work really well against Andra 9 as well. So let's see, because this is going to be so important. I love this composition actually from Edward Gaming as well. They have so much aggression, and there's only 2 teams in the CN Conference that are actually very, very aggressive. It's EDG and FPX.
And I want to touch up onto the Camille mid lane individual matchup up against Akali as well, up against KBG. Because we have to remember, Camille's passive will negate a lot of these AP damage, especially coming into the early game, especially coming into the mid game as well. So 1v1 in the early matchup is not exactly a detrimental thing for Camille into the mid lane, but
oh no, Flash gonna be used by Langway just to escape, but he will not be able to escape without getting killed. Alone as well, getting dashing away. Shama following up with his own Flash, unable to get the Ezreal, but they got the support.
Yeah, KBG got the edge. First blood already secured by Keep Best Gaming. This will be really good because the thing is, Sivir is not really that strong into the early game. We have always mentioned this in the past, but just like that, this will give an advantage for Xiaoma. And Yu just did that perfect engage into the bot side. It doesn't matter if you use up the flash, and Xiaoma just executed the final blow.
Perfect timing as well with the Ignite. Just denied the healing passive from the Alistar as well, maximizing the damage output of Keepers Gaming's Dragon laners that allowed them to secure that kill.
Yeah, and it was really clever for them. And now 0711 has to focus on the bot side, because the thing is, if they leave alone, it will not be that good, right? Because KBG already has the prio just from that one kill.
Time though, alone and Langry look to answer back, but it's just so difficult to do that in the bottom lane. You have two champions, or you're going up against two champions that has great wave clear and AoE damage, plus the charges from the Ornn as well is so irritating. It's like a be better Alistar without the unbreakable will. You have so much setup, you have so much crowd control, and percent HP damage as well from the breath and the brittle.
And the thing is, right, for Alistar, you still need to reach a level 5 to be able to be tanky. It's not the point where in level 1 to level 4, you can really just go ahead into the middle of the dual laners from the opposite side and tank the whole damage, because you're still not at that point that you can be a sponge for alone. So you still need to reach that point, wait for level 5 before they really go in for that engage, before they really go hand-to-hand combat up against KBG.
And you mentioned the junglers as well, needing to prioritize the bottom lane later on for Edward Gaming, right? I think that's going to be the name of the game as well, if they prioritize taking the dragon as well. Top side, Xiaojang is doing a really good job handling KG, despite the usual Renekton advantage in the early game. We see Xiaojang actually having the better timings on the counter-strike as well, and managing the waves as well. So Edward Gaming this time has more leverage in working around the map, possibly to what he said a while ago, the bottom lane.
Oh, Langby once again!
Gonna be fine, still has the heal, and did pop in the ult just to negate some of that damage, but that can be crucial for the next
0711 jumps through.
Just went back.
Yeah, like what an insect does, you know what? Jumped in and just jumps out when they see a target.
Yeah,
it's not something that I want. I want to hide, I want to escape.
They do a really good job avoiding the slap of the hand. Not they do, you know, caught and stuff. Edward Gaming is looking to be inspired by that as well.
100%. And right now, from what we have mentioned, 4 minutes and 30 seconds in, we have the switch of sides from the mid lane now going into the bottom lane. Or even with EDG's composition, they could put Camille on top side and put Xjang into the bottom lane. So pretty much very flexible here for EDG in regards to pretty much their two beefy champions. And I'm telling you, this is the advantage of EDG's lineup, where in fact they could have that lane pressure later on.
There's kind of an indication that both of these teams actually are going towards the dragon here. More of them are coming bot side this time around. Xiaojang gonna be a little bit early, not caught with the shuriken there up. And 9, 1000, 0711 did take the dragon. As KG still gonna have the backline access. Perfect execution onto the backline as well. 0711 is gonna get caught survive for so long. But EG needs to walk away. Yu is gonna be hook-shotting away. The taunt from the taunt is gonna be massive. Taking the Ezreal down actually. Xiaojang looking to still follow up. Still has to sustain, still has to counter-strike. Working his way towards the members here of Keepers Gaming. So many low HP members. Shaman still gonna be able to spell shield the tactical sweep as you looking to be kited away. Langry goes in as Xiaojang follows up as well, and Ryan gonna be baited to go in once more. So execution is just gonna be there with the perfect one on the side of Edward Gaming. They get the punish at the very end with the overextension of KBG.
Could possibly be the longest team fight that we've seen thus far. It was so long coming in from the dragon fight, coming into the bottom lane. But in the end, it was a 3-4-2. It was EDG who was able to actually kind of answer back as well up against Keepers Gaming. How KBG really stayed put into the bottom lane for so long.
Man, and Xiaojang as well. the way that he performed in that team fight, considering that it was still the early game, he was able to soak in so much damage, deny some of it as well because of the counter strike, and land the damage towards Keepus Gaming's crucial members as well.
Yeah, it was so difficult to watch because KBG overstayed there. Like, they were able to get a lot of taunts, they were able to get a lot of kills, and eventually got a lot of CCs as well. But the thing is, fighting under the turret onto EDG's side was in favor of them, and Keepus Gaming overstayed.
Yeah.
And right now, we're back to even level playing field, wherein both sides are pretty much 24.8k gold in this state.
And this is where you have to respect Edward Gaming. Team fighting is the name of the game every single time. 0-7-11, yeah, going in, Stand United.
Shen.
At least here by the Thon, you might actually get caught out, especially with the Ram. You just have the Magic Shield, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. Nagi still commits, headbutt pulverize onto 2. A 0-7-11 lands the damage. Crucial barrage as well. Only needs to land that one auto attack to finally get the 1-for-1, and they do.
And they do get that kill, so it's a 1-for-1. Camille traded in for Akali, and EDG securing the Rift Herald pushes down the bottom lane as well, gives them the priority later on for the Ocean Drake.
Mid lane though has been pushed in by Shama, which is a great answer towards Edward Gaming's intention in the bottom lane. This will mitigate a little bit of the rotations here of EDG, but not really too much since most of their champions actually are quite mobile.
Yeah, but Keepus Gaming is so clever, right? You can get the bottom lane, it doesn't matter, we could get the mid lane. And this was very smart of EDG to do as well. They were able to do it, but this is one of the difficulties of the lineup of Keepus Gaming. Having just the Shen availability for KBG gives you that extra manpower when it comes to that team fight, and that was just so good. And EDG, Langui was able to go for that double man outcome. That was the reason why they were able to get that 1-for-1 trade, which was really good. But time and time again, EDG still has to respect Shen availability for KBG.
It can easily turn the tides around. You think it's going to be a 1 versus 1, you'll never be so wrong, because one cast of the Stand United will suddenly allow Keepus Gaming to have the numbers advantage. And that was true for the initial parts of that team fight a while ago in the bottom lane. But regardless, Edward Gaming still having a great performance here today. Xiaoma and the Thon though are the ones leading the gold chart, which is a great indication of their scaling as well. Yu Sin will not find anyone though.
Yeah, this is a little bit expected, right? Because Xiaoma was able to get the first blood into the bottom lane a while ago. Xiaoma alone was able to get the tier 1 turret in the mid lane, right? So that is already to be expected, and alongside that, Shen was always available when it comes to those fights. So that really is just perspective that KBG is backing on, and the reason why Akali is not on top of the gold leaderboards right now is just because of the Camille availability denying of Akali any space, any breathing room into this matchup. But Ocean Drake is now up. This will be a fight for objectives for both sides.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be tough. Let's see who is gonna be able to fully utilize their composition this time around. Who's gonna get the better end in the initiation as well. Because a while ago, Keepus Gaming had them in the first half. However, they got punished with their own extension. And this time, vision as well through the Scuttle Crab is much better here for Edward Gaming.
Yeah, X-Jang, face checks.
Counter-strike as a response. Langui alongside with the rest of EDG is going to be helping Chao Jiang. The Dragon's going to be initiated. Call of War shot going to be as well as the Dominus pops in for KG. Look at the intercept the back line. Chao Jiang might actually get taken down. The flash in by the Thon alongside with Anodyne will secure him down as the Camille as well is going to get taken out. EDG is a disaster already, but they're still continuing onto the fight alone as well. Still going in with the auto attacks as well as the Mystic shots. However, Dragon secured already by Keepus Gaming alongside with the 2 kills. It's going to give them the better end.
KBG's lineup is just too tanky. Like, Xiaoma was just going in for the free hit onto the Ocean Drake the whole time, and EDG went all in onto the likes of Shen, onto the likes of their support of Ornn, and even Akali. And they just lost so much time just because of it. If you're looking at these matchups, it was only Yu was going in for the target onto Xiaoma, denied with a Stealth Warrior, so he just fell to the ground on that 2v1, while the rest of the crew for Keepus Gaming was just holding Langui, 0711, and alone had the
easily adjust on the split push as well. They can send Andronine to be in the side lane instead of KG if ever KG is having too much trouble handling the Jax. They've tried that already in some of their games. And the 9 being able to have a better angle for those split push. Languid needs to be very careful though. Chang just being helped out for the meantime. 2,000 cut down to 1,000 goal lead this time by Edward Gaming. To still scale better than Keepbest Gaming.
They will definitely scale, right? Because we always have to remember, what is EDG lineup composed of? Right, you have Jax, you have Camille. These are tanky champions, not necessarily having the greatest damage of champions. You have Kha'Zix, which is strong individually, especially if you can activate the passive. But when is the time that you'll be able to activate the isolation target, isolation passive? Not always, especially when it comes to team fight. So their only dependency is Ezreal to deal damage later on, which is not enough.
Not enough at all. And I think it would be much better for you to actually use the Hexic Ultimatum onto the Akali instead of the Sivir, because there's zero chance for it to be dodged. And you would be able to pin down the Akali for at least a brief of time. That's, I think, going to be the more important strategy of Edward Gaming.
Yeah. The problem with that, on the other hand, is under 9, if he gets, Hextech Ultimatum,
they go for Alone as well, with the Orn Horn being used onto him as well. Sad United was used a little bit early, but they're still committing onto the fight. Langy goes in though with a 2-man knock-up. Gets the isolation as well towards the support. And Yu still buying enough time with his stasis as well. There's a Parage gonna be used as well, but Yu's still gonna be taken down as Honor 9 still getting the assassination done. And they get a better end on that trade, 2-1. KBG still having the better team fighting execution here against Edward Gaming. They still are not done to flash into the taunt, and they follow up as well with the shuriken taunts now. Xiaojiang, or rather, will get taken out in the very end. That's 4 people piling onto the Jax, and no way for him to escape.
That was just perfect coordination. It was picture perfect. There was no mishap into that execution, and now the Baron is open.
Easily taken here by Keepbest Gaming. 0711 saying, no thank you, I'm not gonna contest, and it leads now, giving the chance for KBG to take this without any hesitation.
Yeah, EDG is currently bleeding already. They're bleeding gold, they're bleeding kills, and they're bleeding turrets. Right now, KBG is on the precipice to be able to finish this game unscathed. If you're looking at that matchup, it was covered on how Keepbest Gaming was able to do this, right? They were able to go in with the taunt focusing on you. They were able to isolate Ornn into the turret, which gave them that 1-for-1. But you still have to remember that Keepbest Gaming has individually those single targeted CCs gives them so much advantage, and Xiaoma on top of it all that has on the hunt teamfight prowess. Keepbest Gaming is definitely leading the charge, and the ton with that flash taunt.
And like the follow-up is instantaneous as well. That's what's really fun to see on the side of Keepbest Gaming. Right now, KJ is gonna be in a bad spot. 0711. A little bit late there in that fight, but it's still okay for KBG. They can still push into the mid lane, still push the bottom lane, and while they're at it as well, Tatan is just taking this dragon for absolutely free.
It's worked. Right, you have the push power into the bottom lane and even the mid lane as well, with Xiaoma being that pressure point. And right now, Yu
still is going to be able to tank in a lot of that damage, especially that it's just Langui and Xiaojiang. Turrets falling down one by one. KBG this time though are going to be engaged. Hookshot did not connect onto the wall. That might be not good here for you, but the Standard Knight is going to be used as well. Language trying to zone in the members of Keepbest Gaming, but the Ornn Horn is still massive to knock up as well. EDG cannot penetrate the defenses, but Language will try for the second time. Xiaojiang as well. Stace is going to be used by the Akali, actually by Shama, to try and buy enough time. Still able to flash away as Alone this time. Looking to deal the damage. Yu's gonna be the last one to survive. Still flash away, still wanting to survive. Anran, before a re-engage, will not push through in this time as Edward Gaming and push them back.
They have to back off. Xiaoma's still alive, but EDG, their front to back and their individual focus against Keepbest Gaming now bought them time to be able to still fight back up against KBG. It was just the right moment, because when Keepbest Gaming lost their Baron buff, it was a signal for EDG to pounce.
EDG though, even if they pounce time and time again, they don't seem to have the landing strike onto the crucial members of Keepbest Gaming. They try the damage still not enough. And if we look at the stats as well of their players individually, we see Shama still being untouched in the backline. No matter how many attempts Edward Gaming has made so far here in this game, that's still going to be the case every single time.
Yeah, every single time. And especially if Xiaoma's alive, those boomerangs are gonna ricochet onto those team fights. Not something that EDG would want. Especially how Xiaoma already scaled with pretty much 3-4 items already in his vicinity, in his inventory. KBG Gaming right now has just so much damage built into their 2 carries.
Big damage, big scaling, big AoE as well. And executing damage is perfect. It's something that we have talked about during the drafting phase itself. We loved the composition here of KBG Gaming having the better win conditions in general, but let's see how Edward Gaming is still going to be able to fight back in case. Right now, 7-11 actually starting the Elder Dragon despite KBG being intact here in the mid lane. KG is going to be a little bit late, has to teleport still. Is going to be joining team. Xiao Jiang looking for an angle. Yu's going to be able to stop them for a brief of time. But Simon goes in actually. Langui looking to disengage. Backline is going to be breached for the meantime. Stace is going to be used by the Jack to buy enough time. The rest of the team to actually able to follow up later on. Time to disengage. KBG still threatening despite any attempt by Edward Gaming.
Look at the damage of Xiaoma. I don't know if we could look back at that replay, but even if no one died, but the thing is, the damage of Xiaoma, if left alone open, it just hurts. Like, Yu's HP bar is getting shredded down to pieces every single time. So that's still something that EDG has to respect. Yes, they could go for Anra 9, but if Xiaoma's left alone, it still could hurt them and punch them in the back.
They feel it every single time. They try to burst Anra 9. He manages to stall out. They try KG as well.
Angry.
And still, Xiaoma is being able to free hit. Right now, they're feeling every bit of shuriken and ricochets landing onto them. They have to disengage, but the flash is going to be made here alongside with standing right here by the Shan. They're going to be in a lot of trouble. 0-7 and still going to be walking away, but Camille's going to be dead alone, trying to kite with a missing shot. Cruiser Product is going to be used onto 2 members here of KBG, but it's not going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. Edward Gaming might have to give this Elder Dragon.
Yeah, it is EDG that has to put a sacrificial lamp into that team fight because 7-11 will be important here. The question is, can he reach the Elder Drake?
Oh man, this is gonna be tough, man. KBG getting the big ancient dragon. The most crucial part of this game when the Baron's available as well.
They can't. This is pretty much a 4v3. Still have the ultimates as well ready, and to add to that, the Elder Drake is for the side of KBG Gaming. So that execution, that Elder Dragon execute, will hurt them so much.
The breath of fire of the Elder Dragon is gonna be massive here for EDG. They're already struggling, regardless of any objective. They haven't won a team fight yet, except for that bottom lane overextension by KBG Gaming. That's it. That's basically it. Edward Gaming has been struggling ever since. They have been waiting for KBG to make a mistake, but they haven't been making any yet.
Still no mistakes thus far. One team fight will definitely end the game in favor of one side to the other. Will be important to not make a mistake here. Right now, KBG is starting the Baron.
Again, EDG bank on 7-11 stealing potential on this Baron. They have no vision on the Baron, and it's gonna be uncontested regardless. KBG getting the double buff.
Oh, that will be interesting because I was thinking that 7-11 alone could opt to try and go for the Baron buff. Like, despite KBG having the Elder Drake still, it's just too difficult right now to fight up against KBG Gaming with both buffs available to their side.
Yeah, and EDG has no way to answer. They have no choice but to let these minions push into their towers and maybe try to get a little bit sneaky here. Andra 9 still able to stall, but the Stasis is going to be used. And now 7-7 gets caught, gets easily deleted here by KBG, and now they're marching onto the base. Mid inhib is already taken. Top lane is being pushed by KG. And EDG cannot do anything but watch as their turrets fall, their structures fall, and base crumble. But this time, Mexico, they made him out to Shava, still gonna be denied actually here as EDG crumbles instead and bounce down to KBG.
history repeats itself. Keep Best Gaming once again dominates EDG in a 1-0 here in a best of 1 series that we've had. To have that bracket placement for Season 2 finals, it's just a lot of aspects of mistakes and mishaps for the side of EDG that lost them that game. No